Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now, Sunday, December the 4th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you, ready to break it down for Sunday. 5 games on tap in NHL action. This is going to be an abbreviated edition of the show today. Time constraints, unfortunately, that we are dealing with today. So we'll hop right into it. Apologies for no graphics either. Didn't get the opportunity to put some together for the show. So we'll have those back on Monday's show. It's a short card. That's the good news, only 5 games. So let's get into it. We got 2 afternoon games. We'll start with the Minnesota Wild taking on the Dallas Stars. Dallas minus 145 to minus 150. Home favorites in this game, 6 being the total, pretty much across the board in this one. Man, it was not easy for those Minnesota Wild, was it? Yesterday afternoon against the lowly, reeling, struggling Anaheim Ducks as they got pushed to the limit yesterday, taking on Anaheim at home, surviving in a shootout. With a 5-4 victory over the Ducks. It is their 5th win in 6 games, so pretty solid run, but can't be impressed with how at times it looks like they've played down to competition. Both of these weekend afternoon games, each of the last 2 weeks, the Arizona game and the Anaheim game, 2 below average teams in Minnesota, life and death to win both of those games. Now they go on the road here, second of back-to-back games against a rested Dallas team, which actually just played Anaheim in their last game back on Thursday and shut out the Anaheim Ducks by a score of 5-0. What a night it was for Jason Robertson. As I mentioned the other day, there's a new JR starring in Big D, and that is Jason Robertson. He's been absolutely phenomenal for the Dallas Stars. If there's books that offer you same-game parlays right now, and I'm going to start doing this and experimenting with them and mentioning them on the show here when I bet them, if you can do like a Jason Robertson over point and goal score prop, like you could put together a parlay that has Jason Robertson to score a goal in it and Jason Robertson to get a point in it. And you could get a really solid plus price, like at least plus 250 to plus 300 even maybe with something like that. I mean, it feels like it's just not automatic, but the way this guy is playing right now, it's been absolutely phenomenal to watch, and it's something to consider here. And I need to start taking advantage of this because we always talk about here on the show that we can't bet some of these players we want to, the ones that you could consistently rely on to score for you over to get a point most nights because you've got to lay minus 180, or minus 250 even with your Connor McDavids and players of that stature. But if you can put it in a same game parlay just to get 1 point with some of these players, throw in a goal prop, maybe throw in something else into the equation, all of a sudden you've got something value laden to work with. So that is something that I would look at, like a point and a goal score, same game parlay type of prop here with Jason Robertson, because, I mean, what can you say about what he's been doing lately for the Dallas Stars? I mean, he's just been absolutely on fire. He had the hat trick against Anaheim. He's got a career high point streak that's 17 games now, 22 goals, 12 assists during the 17-game streak. So that's a total of 34 points. That's sick. 34 points during the 17-game streak for Robertson. So I think the Robertson same-game parlay to get a point, to get a goal. I mean, and a nice plus return with that. Very good. I like Dallas a little bit here, but if I'm going to bet them, I'm probably going to dumb it down to Dallas in regulation. That's probably the way I'm going to go about it here in this one. Minnesota now going on the road on a back-to-back. Dallas at home this season, pretty solid record overall, 7-4 on home ice. Only 5 wins on the road for Minnesota. So I'm looking toward Dallas in regulation. And like I said, this Robertson same game parlay prop to get a point and a goal. Man, my goodness, I'm going to start looking in that direction as long as he keeps this up, because it's been an incredible run for the new JR in Dallas. Alex, what do you think here? Minnesota, Dallas.
Yeah, I like Stars in regulation at even money, and you make a great point about these same game parlays. A lot of people will kind of slam these things and say, "Oh, they're traps designed by the books." But no, the thing is, you can make them work to your advantage. And the thing is, like I said, when you're trying to knock down some of these higher prices, be it favorites and for player props, favorites for the game, You can find adjusted totals. So there's ways to make this work to your advantage. As long as you're not stacking 6 or 7 random things together and playing it, which is what the books ultimately want you to do with those same game parlays, to try to look for, one of these giant payouts. And just dumb it down, like you said, simplify it, and get things that you feel are comfortable that should happen in the game, and get better prices for it adjusted when you stack them together. So I think that's really good advice, and it's something that all of us need to kind of add to our betting repertoire moving forward. But I like Dallas here in this spot. Like I said, the Wild, another game where they win, and it wasn't a great win. This is struggling against a lower tiered opponent. They're celebrating like they just won a playoff series at the end of that shootout. It was just really bizarre to see that. This has not been the best of homestands for the Wild as far as form goes. On the standings, it's been fantastic. You get 5 out of 7 wins at home. That's what you need to do, especially after the slow start they had. But they have to build on that by playing better hockey. They're not playing their best hockey and getting wins. The luck has kind of come back on their side, where they were a bit unlucky in October and heading into November. So now they got to balance it out, try to play some better hockey. But I don't think they're going to do that against a rested Dallas team at home. I like the Stars here to win this one.
At it right now, yeah, plus 200 there for Robertson. Goal and point, same game parlay prop. There you go. I mean, plus 200 is not bad considering what you're seeing with his success at the moment. All right, next up, we've got the Winnipeg Jets hosting the Anaheim Ducks. Winnipeg minus 270, home favorite, 6 the total in this game. And I could tell right away watching that Jackets-Jets game, this team's they don't have it today. They're not locked in mentally. They're not sharp. They're not focused. They're, look, they had the big shutout win against Colorado, playing some good hockey. And look, they fell into the trap and played a lowly injury-riddled Columbus team, and you just didn't bring it. They didn't, and they got outworked from the very beginning in that game. The tight defensive play that we've seen from the Jets coming off that shutout against Colorado, and all of a sudden they're giving up easy passing plays in the offensive zone, breakdowns in coverage, and Rick Bowness said it yesterday. It's just, hey, it was a wake up call, that one of our worst games. He's right. I mean, it's not a panic situation. That they've had a very good start to the season. It was just one of those games where when you're a little bit lackadaisical, you're going to pay the price for it. It's still the National Hockey League. Any team can win any given night. We all know that based on what we see day in and day out. And the Jets were a little bit sloppy in the defensive zone. They paid the price for it. And I still have to continue to give Columbus some credit. The work ethic's been pretty strong, even with everybody out of the lineup that they've had. So you do have to give them credit for that. I think it's a good opportunity for the Winnipeg Jets here to probably bounce back in this game here on home ice, taking on this lowly struggling Anaheim Ducks team that simply just can't get out of their own way right now. Although it was a much better effort yesterday, 5-4 shootout loss to Minnesota. They got their offense going, but as usual, couldn't keep Minnesota from scoring. 5 goals allowed to Minnesota, 5 allowed to Dallas, 5 to Seattle, 5 to Ottawa. You get the picture. Other than that 2-1 loss in overtime to Nashville, this is a team that's not keeping the puck out of their own net. It's been a problem all season long. They've spent pretty much the entire season having the dead last 32nd ranked penalty kill in the National Hockey League. That's been a problem for the Anaheim Ducks as well. It was John Gibson yesterday. I would probably think Anthony Stolarz gets the net this afternoon on the back-to-back. Still without Klingberg and Drysdale on the blue line. Comtois, Lundestrom is out now, and he's a good two-way forward for them, for the Ducks as well, and Derek Grant day-to-day as well. It's been a pretty rough season for Stolarz, for both goalies for Anaheim and the whole team defensively. But Stolarz, 3.91 goals against average, 888 save percentage, which isn't great. I think Winnipeg's going to want to play tight. Like, I could see this being 4-1 Winnipeg, 5-1 Winnipeg. So I don't like the full game over as much. I do like the Jets team total over 3.5. I do like that. That's probably what I'm going to roll with here in this game, because just asking many teams these days to score 4 goals against the Anaheim Ducks, it's not like we're asking the world of teams in this situation, because Anaheim's been just so they've become experts essentially at giving up 4 or more goals to the opponents. So Jets over 3.5 minus 138. That's what I've got my eye on here for this game. All right, Alex, what do you think here? Anaheim, Winnipeg.
Yeah, this is one I would probably wait and look for a live over, which, and we didn't get the recap yesterday, but yesterday everything I recommended for live overs, everything cashed. Tampa and Toronto,
Yes,
St.
great
Louis,
job. Yep.
Pittsburgh. So these looks now are kind of the way I'm going to go with some of these totals, and this is a perfect game for that because, like I said, we don't know what we're going to get from the Jets as far as do they want to play tight defensively. Of course, more than likely going to be Hellebuck. He's coming off of a shutout, so you don't want to just take a risk with a full game total, even though Anaheim can score. They're going to give up goals. But you just want to kind of wait and see. So I think this, if we can get this number down, it's at 6. So we can get a 5.5 and a plus price, maybe even a 4.5. Then that might be live. And like I said, it could be one sided. All you need is Winnipeg to take care of business to try to get over that number. But nothing on the side here. Like I said, Stolarz has really struggled. This is definitely not a spot to try to take a shot with Anaheim at a big dog price. He's not the same caliber of goalie we saw from last season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that 100%. Detroit and Columbus. We've got pretty much even money here, minus 110, both sides, 6.5 being the total in this game. Columbus, like I say, I'm impressed. Not just that they beat Winnipeg the other night, but again, this team remains very, very depleted. I mean, with everybody that's out for them, although they did get Patrick Laine back Friday night against the Jets, and look at how he definitely got to his former team and made an impact right away. Obviously, that bolsters the Blue Jackets offensively, no question about that. But with everybody out of the lineup here for the Jackets, overall, the record's not great, right? 2-4 their last 6 games, but the losses have been tight. 3-2 to the Islanders, 3-2 in a shootout to Vegas, 3-1 to Montreal. They get Laine back. They win 4-1. So I'm kind of pumping the brakes on Detroit here because I want to take Detroit. It feels cheap. I think they're still the better of these two teams. But, at the same point in time, Columbus is battling here. They're starting to get at least a little bit healthier when you talk about the return of Laine. And Detroit is, only 4-5 on the road this year. And Columbus has actually been obviously better at home. So there's enough things that might keep me off the Red Wings. I lean Detroit here. Also, I want to see who's in net. You would think with Detroit also coming in off playing last night against Vegas and losing that game 4-1, a game where we saw Ville Husso in net. We could see Nedeljkovic, and that's a situation that could keep me off Detroit as well. It's been well documented that he's definitely been the second best goaltender for the Detroit Red Wings this year, 3.96 goals against average, .880 save percentage. His performance in his last start earlier this week at home against Buffalo was nothing to write home about. 4 goals allowed on 34 shots. So this could be over 6.5 if I see that Nedeljkovic is in play. And I lean Detroit, but I might I might talk myself into that over at 6.5 if we see Nedeljkovic confirmed in net. I think it'll be Korpisalo for the Columbus Blue Jackets in goal for them. Of course, you've got Merzlikins. He is healthy again. I should point that out. He is available once again to Brad Larson, but Korpisalo has started 3 of the last 4 games, and he is coming off a win against Winnipeg. So because he's off a win, I think we're going to see him again, and they won't rush Elvis Merzlikins back in net. So we'll have to wait on that. But I'm leaning Detroit, leaning over the total. Alex, how about you? Red Wings, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, it'd be a lean for me too. Like I said, with Nedeljkovic, obviously, you've seen 6.5 at even money. Now that will probably move juice wise. You'll probably see 20 or 30 cent move if it is Nedeljkovic confirmed. So it's one you probably could wait in game for. Like I said, sidewise, I don't really want any of these two teams to form that they're playing in right now. It definitely would stay away from the side. So this is definitely a watch and wait and kind of just see what transpires early in the contest.
All right, we got the San Jose Sharks and the Buffalo Sabres next up. Buffalo minus 150 to minus 155 home favorites in this one. 6.5 being the total in this game. The San Jose Sharks continuing this trip through the East Coast. Started in Montreal, where they shut out the Canadiens 4-0 and kind of gone downhill since then. They lose 3-1 to San Jose and then 5-2 last night to the Ottawa Senators. And now back-to-back on the road for this Sharks team. A major rest advantage here for the Buffalo Sabres. And I mean major. I mean, you talk about only the 3rd game for the Sabres since November the 30th. This is now going to be, with major rest. It's actually 3rd game for both teams since that time, but major rest coming into this game. Obviously, San Jose played last night in Ottawa. Buffalo hasn't played since Thursday when they lost 6-4. Hard-fought, valiant effort from Buffalo in that game, 6-4. Lost to Colorado. Definitely a Buffalo spot. Definitely will be on Buffalo. I'm just trying to determine how to bet them. I mean, the money line's a little pricey. I was thinking the money line might be cheap enough we could lay it, so I'm kind of veering toward the regulation price to get a little bit better number on that. I might do a rare split between the money line and regulation line, because the one thing, Alex, that I'm fearful of, Buffalo plays things very close, very tight lately, and it wouldn't shock me to see this be an overtime or a shootout win for them. Win the game, but take beyond regulation for it. So I'm probably going to split it up, and there are minus 143s with, you know what, I'll make the money line official, just the straight money line in that case, because there's a couple books like North Star Bets, which is available in Ontario, Bet Rivers, which is available in a lot of states in the U.S. and in Ontario as well. They have Buffalo at minus 143 right now. So I like that price. It's below my minus 150, which is usually the cutoff point that I'll lay on a money line price. So I'll go Buffalo minus 143 and have to go over the total. You know, I've been taking these Buffalo games over the total lately. They just keep on cashing. What is it now for Buffalo? Something like 6-1. Yeah, 6-1. To the over in their last 7 games. Just the last 3 games alone, we had 11 goals, 9 goals, and 10 goals scored in the last 3 games. And the goaltending matchup, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has shown some glimpses, but still a rough 4.46 goals against, 846 save percentage in limited action so far for the Sabres. And we've got our guy, Farmer in the Dell, Aaron Dell for San Jose, who I will give credit, played well against Toronto Friday night. That was actually a very solid performance from him. In that game against the Leafs, Thursday night, I should say, against the Leafs. He played well. I think it was one of his better games. But as is often the case with Aaron Dell when he's coming off a good game, let me see it again. Can I see it a second time before I'm ready to go too crazy with praise and too believing in him as a goaltender? Let's see him do it again here against this Buffalo Sabres team before I'm ready to say, hey, Aaron Dell's playing lights out right now, because it very easily could see him give up 4 or 5. That often happens with him when he's coming off a good game. So Buffalo, money line, over 6.5 for me as well. What do you think here, Alex? Sharks, Sabres?
Yeah, I grabbed this first period over at 2 plus $1.25 this morning. Like I said, we already kind of knew, even going back to last night, that Aaron Dell was going to get the start here against his old team. And I think that may not mean much of a difference. If anything, might actually be something for Buffalo. This is a better Buffalo offense than the ones he saw in practice last year. Maybe they know his tendencies and they can get to him early. So that could be a bit problematic. I think we see goals both ways, so I lean with the full game over as well. But grab that first period over. If you can get a 2 at a plus price, grab that. If not, you see in the 150s and 160s, wait and grab a better price in game.
All right, excellent. Yeah, definitely. First period over. A look there for Alex, and maybe look live over at some point as well. And we wrap up with, and he's wearing the Chicago Blackhawks jersey. He should after last night. What a victory to snap the ugly losing streak for the Chicago Blackhawks. And now they go back-to-back, taking on the New York Islanders tonight. Islanders minus 285, home favorites, 5.5 being the total in this game. Let's give those Blackhawks credit. A nice win for them. They finally snapped the ugly, long losing streak they had, which had reached 8 games prior to last night, and they beat the New York Rangers 5-2. Very impressive win for them. They got their offense going, which they were looking to do. They were able to do that. It also helped that Jarro Halak was in net for the New York Rangers. We know his struggles during the course of the year. Of course, things got a little testy during that game. A big open ice hit by Jacob Trouba on Andreas Athanasiou, the Greek stallion. That led to a little bit of a ruckus there in the second period. I really think, Trouba is getting a lot of criticism. It's like, is it coincidence that the Rangers are going off the deep end right now with him becoming the captain? He's trying to do what a captain should be doing to wake up the team, like be physical, try to get them emotionally charged up through that. And you could see when he was throwing the helmet and going off the ice after that incident last night, that was toward his team. He was doing that, like, wake up, let's get some energy, let's get some life in this team. Kenny Albert and Joe Micheletti said it on the MSG broadcast for the Rangers last night. Absolutely true. And he was filling in for Rosen, by the way. That's why, if you're wondering why Kenny Albert was doing the game, Rosen wasn't there. He was sick or something. But they were talking about it, that Trouba, was trying to wake up the team. It looks like they have no life, no energy. The New York Rangers. It's like they're comatose right now. I think part of that's true. And I think part of that's why Chicago won the game, because it's just a reeling hockey team right now, the Rangers. But you also have to give Chicago credit. They did win that game. They snapped the losing streak. This will be tough tonight because they got a rested Islanders team, an Islanders team that's off back-to-back losses to the Flyers and, of course, Nashville. But don't be fooled by the Nashville score. Islanders did play a pretty solid game. I mean, they fired over 40 shots at the former Blackhawk goaltender, Kevin Lankinen, who actually had a very good game that night against Nashville. I think this is that spot for the Islanders to, one thing about Chicago and all these teams that when they win a game, I'm not trusting them to win again, especially when you factor in the back-to-back spot. So I'm going to do a very rare, and I mean very rare, New York Islanders puck line here, -1.5 here around even money in this spot. I think that's the way to go here in this one. In terms of the goaltending matchup in this game, it looks like we're going to have Sorokin for the Islanders, you would think, although it hasn't been confirmed. It's, again, Mrazek. What else is new? Another fucking issue with the groin. I mean, it's just, it's the same thing with Freddie Anderson and these two guys. I mean, I'm telling you, if you think these guys are going to stay healthy for a full hockey season at this point of their careers, you need your head examined. It's just not going to happen. And we knew this guy had the groin issues flaring up over and over again. And here we go again with yet another groin injury for Peter Mrazek. Suffered in the game last night against the New York Rangers. Luke Richardson is saying that they're going to be very cautious with this, and they're probably going to give the young kid Arvid Soderblom certainly a lot more ice time and starts now because of this. So I would definitely expect Soderblom will be in net here tonight for the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm going to go Islanders puck line. I think this is that spot where, again, the process was good against Nashville, even though it was 4-1. The work ethic was there. I thought they played a solid game. They just couldn't put the puck in. I think that's going to change tonight against this Chicago team. Not a great defensive team. Soderblom, hit or miss, and a team that's a little fatigued, maybe feeling themselves a little bit after snapping the losing streak against the Rangers last night and now in a tough back-to-back spot. So Islanders -1.5 for me in this one. Lean to the over as well, because you know what I'm talking about with these 5.5s lately. These 5.5s across the NHL, when we see a game hit 5.5 with the total, it's crazy the percentage clip that these games are going over. It really is. So for that reason, I'll have probably a smaller look toward over 5.5 as well. Alex, what do you think here? Blackhawks, Islanders.
Yeah, I like over, but wait in game and wait for that to flip over to plus price. Like say you see them now minus $1.25, $1.30. That's a little steep. But I definitely expect it was a nice win for the Hawks. That was a great game to watch. Getting to see Jonathan Taves dropping the gloves, and like I said, Trouba, 2 fighting majors in the same period for Jacob Trouba. That's something you don't get to see too often these days. But love seeing the Hawks fighting back. And getting goals, in bunches. The power play was clicking. Patrick Kane cracking the 1,200 rather point mark, got a goal and 2 assists in the contest. So congrats to him. Just a all around great effort. But like you said, it's just tough to see Peter Mrazek, going down once again with the groin injury. So Soderblom had to come in and play last night. Going to play tonight, and not sure if Mrazek's going to have to go back on the IR. It seems to be day to day for right now, but. Keep an eye on that. We might end up seeing Dylan Wells recalled or Jackson Starver, one of the 2 guys down in Rockford. So with that being said, yeah, definitely look at the over, but grab a plus price in game. Maybe even if you see this kind of a slower pace, look to see a 4.5, and then you could lay $1.15, $1.20 if you get in that lower number.
All right, excellent stuff. So definitely Alex liking the over. I will be involved with the over, and I like the Islanders puck line here. And I think they can win by a 2-3 goal type of margin here tonight in this one against Chicago. All right, there we go. That's the Sunday NHL card. Again, abbreviated show today. Alex won't be with us tomorrow, but I might have a guest with me tomorrow. So perfect timing with that. So Alex will be off tomorrow, but I think you're on the rest of the week pretty much.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, flying home to Chicago tomorrow, and I'll be in Chicago for probably the next 5 or 6 weeks. But I'll definitely be on most of the time during this trip. So I'll be back. Not sure if I'll be back Tuesday, but for at least most of this week coming up, I will be back. So I'll keep everyone posted on Twitter, of course.
All right, excellent. Good stuff indeed.
Yeah.
And a reminder, the next Betcast is going to be December the 13th. So Tuesday, December the 13th, a week from this Tuesday is when it'll be. That'll be our December Betcast. If it's anything like the last one where we had that insane LA-Seattle game to wrap it up, it'll be a lot of fun. So mark your calendars, Tuesday, December 13th, the December edition of the Ice Guys Live Betcast, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you join us for that. Patreon.com/Ice Guys, $10 a month. Sign up there, daily betting card, power ratings, of course, goalie charts, totals charts, and more. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. And Alex, the store as well. Get your Christmas goods.
Today is the last day for 15% off everything and free standard shipping. Go to iceguys.myspreadshop.com and order now. You do not want to miss that deal. That's a great deal and a great offer for standard shipping, especially if you're trying to get things in time for the holidays. So iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Last day, 15% off everything and free standard shipping.
All right, awesome stuff there. So get your Ice Guys gear and merch quickly before the holiday season arrives. All right, best bets for this Sunday card. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
We're going out to Buffalo, San Jose, Buffalo. First period, over 2 plus 125. Yes, Aaron Dell did have a nice game in that start back against Toronto the other night, but can he string them together? Can this team string together a solid defensive performance? I don't think so. And then Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen hasn't been that sharp in net either. He's confirmed as the starter for the Sabres. Let's go Sharks Sabres over 2 in the first period, plus 125 is my best bet for Sunday.
There you go. San Jose Buffalo over 2 in the first period. Best bet for Alex B. Smith. And my best bet actually is coming from the exact same game, but I'm going to go with those Buffalo Sabres here. Minus 143. I mean, I think it's one of the better scheduling situational spots on the board. You got San Jose rolling in, long East road trip it's been this week. Back-to-back situation as well after losing to Ottawa. Buffalo rested since Thursday after losing to the Colorado Avalanche. Valiant effort, though. Against Colorado. They were right in that game. It was tied early in the third period, or actually a one-goal game, I should say. Buffalo, battled that Avs team tough. I think they've got the schedule in their favor, and they get the job done tonight against Farmer and the Dell and the San Jose Sharks. Buffalo, minus 143 against San Jose for my best bet for this Sunday card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat on YouTube for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow on Monday for another edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.